My name is Exodus. I'm joined by my buddy Tiny Tank and another friend whose name I forget because I'm sorry we just met tonight. But
Jarissa.
Jarissa. I started this stream to try to bring awareness to a game that I really enjoy called Marvel Heroes. I've been playing it for over 4 years on the PC, over 5 years on the PC since it started playing it before its or during its beta. And Jarissa, Tiny Tank, myself, we've become friends and acquaintances through this game now that it's released on the console, and I started streaming to try to get more people interested in this game. Anyway, the game released on consoles, and as it released on consoles, I was sent to Africa to do my job. I went to Africa, I did my job, I came back, and I immediately jumped right back into playing this game. I've had a blast playing it on the consoles. I've played a ton. I've played countless hours of this game on the PC. I cannot tell you how much time I've played this game on the PC. But just a moment ago, my buddy Nicholas Morano, Nick, if you don't want me to like name drop you like that, fuck me, right? Informed me that Gazillion and Marvel as a company, not Marvel Heroes, but Marvel as a company, Marvel has cut all of its ties to Gazillion in light of a recent sexual harassment lawsuit brought up against their current CEO, whose name I don't know, because they recently changed CEOs, but they changed CEOs like Kid Rock changed his wife beaters at a concert. He was brought up on sexual harassment charges, and Disney just said, screw it, we're done with Gazillion as a company. And now, according to GameSpot, Kotaku, and a few other reliable video game resources, Gazillion is being left in the dust by Marvel, and this game will be shut down within the next 24 hours. Before I get into my personal testimony, we'll start with Lil. Lil, how long have you been playing this game? Larissa?
Talking about me?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I've been playing the game off and on for like 6 months, dude. I enjoyed playing it. It was one of those games where I could come home from work and play it, and it was just one of those stress relief games. I could grind out some stuff with my friends and, you know, learn new things about comic books. It was fun. It was an experience all on its own.
So
I love comics. There's Marvel in general, DC, you know, Dark Horse, stuff like that. I love those comic books, man.
So, just to recap, it's a fun, easy to play game. You could actually learn something about the source material, which you can't really say about the movies. And it was fun. It was easy, and it didn't take a whole lot to do. Like, I'm sorry if you don't want to answer the question. Just say I don't want to answer that question. How much money have you spent on this game? Because the game, before you answer that, okay, you did answer that, $20. The game is by no means pay to win. This was like, you play the game, and you finish the tutorial, which the tutorial lets you play as a couple of different characters. You finish the tutorial, and you get to pick any character you, I'm sorry, 90% of the character's roster as your just character that you have. And then by playing the game, you can further unlock other characters without spending a dime. There's tons of people who play this game without spending any actual currency to play it and unlock different characters in the game. I'm not one of those people.
I give you that option.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of money on this game. In the 6-7 years I've been playing this game, I have, and I hope that my wife doesn't judge me for this, or my family doesn't judge me for this. Over the 6+ years I've been playing this game, from the PC to the console port, I've spent over $1,000 on this game. But you don't have to spend a cent, and you can get almost everything that I got. The only things that I got for actually spending money is a little bit more inventory and stash space. Everything else is just semantics and stuff you can get just from playing the game. So, Lil, you spent $20. You said you enjoyed the game. It was fun. You learned a little bit more about the comic book, like the source material.
I
Um,
mean, I would sit back for 9, 10 hours straight with a buddy of mine, and we would sit back, chill, and just play, just grind.
it just
It was fun.
it was fun. It was a good old time. I mean, I'll go ahead and say real quick that it's not everybody's type of game. It's a top-down action RPG like Diablo. So not everybody's gonna like it,
Which
but some people
which was
will.
fun. I mean,
It's fun for a lot of people, in my opinion. But
I mean, if you played Diablo on PC, you'd probably enjoy this game. But I see it just like you said 20 minutes ago. I see it as Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. They really stepped up and they took the mantle on that one. I love it.
for a lot of fans of this game, it is the spiritual successor to Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Um, thank you though for sharing that.
You wouldn't have to be
Tiny,
Avengers if you
Tiny, you are one of the first and realistically, now that the game's over, only friends that I've made. One of the very few friends that I've made just from playing this game on the console. How much time have you spent playing this game, and what do you think about the game? Not about the news, about the game itself. What do you think?
Well, right off the bat, I didn't want to pay too much attention to this game because of how the camera angle is. I never really liked those style games, like Command and Conquer style kind of camera angle, camera style.
Yeah, top
But
down.
I played this one. I gave it a chance. 4 or 5 days into it, I completely forgot about it, and I just love the game so much. And let's see, we'll tell you this. I love this so much that I begged for my birthday money ahead of time. and I ended up getting $100 and I put it straight out on this game. I bought the Avengers pack, and one of those packs, and put me ahead.
Even Tiny taught me how to get to super heroic, man. And I just got my first character to super heroic, and now this.
Yeah. So within a month's time after I bought characters, I bought 16 characters. Well, I got 14, but 2 were for free, Daredevil and Nightcrawler. And I just got them all to level 60. And out of those 16 characters I have, 5 of them are super heroic. And I was still looking forward to get them up to Omega. And my boy even loves this game. I was looking forward to couch co-op with him because he just loves it, and it's something we can do together, which I really appreciate. And it's not a difficult game. It's fun above all. I never felt pressured to buy anything in this game, but I just fell in love with it that much right off the bat. And now I only have right now that this news came out, I'm kind of sad because I only have enough splinters, 750 splinters to buy any character that my son wants.
I am the blade of vengeance.
Since we have the 16th, he wants 5 more. So I was working on that. I even added it up. It was going to cost me 4,500 splinters. I have 750 so far.
For anybody who doesn't actually play this game, splinters is the in-game currency that you get just from playing the game, just from killing bad guys. You get eternity splinters. But I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure that was clarified.
No worries. Yeah, I would have forgot that detail. Yeah, man. So today when he comes home, I have to let him know that this game's gonna shut down, and he only has. He can pick whatever character he wants, and that's it
In
for
the
the
name
game.
of heaven and Asgard, I will protect this place.
I really like this game. I was looking forward to it.
Me too, man.
It was
Me
a
too.
family-friendly game to just sit and spend time with your friends and your family, man. Why anybody would disturb that? I understand bigger MMOs like,
Don't let
I'm
the
not even
tea
going to talk
fool you.
about WoW.
I'm
WoW
not a
is,
vampire.
one of those games that has been around for 15 plus
Something
years.
else.
But like DC Universe Online, it's one of those games that wasn't really that serious. This game wasn't that serious. It was just something for you to spend time with friends, grind it out, and see how well you could get your
A
character.
vampire. Oh,
This could get messy.
I can handle
The
that.
There was
powers
no
are
pressure to
awesome.
do raids. There was no pressure to do any of the stuff. There was fun events, holiday events. I love the Halloween events, the Archangel events. I mean, they kept up current with the
Please
movies,
tell me
you
you're
know,
not one of those
and
noobs I hear
I
about.
don't know. I think if I downed anything, they could have gotten the costume better for Doctor
You
Strange.
could wear a hat like this for only a few measly G's.
Dude, they.
Oh, come on, you know you want it.
Tiny, if you don't mind me asking, and you don't have to answer this out loud if you don't want to. I respect that. How much money, like how much actual currency did you spend on this game? You mentioned you dropped at least $100 earlier. And all be all though, how much like cash did you spend on Marvel Heroes?
Just that $100, and I try to earn the rest. The rest
Think
of my
I feel a
characters.
little cold front coming
I just
on.
wanted that huge loot because I
I
hit this
admit
game
it.
hard,
I do like a man in uniform.
and I like how all the moves were, specifically individual to the actual character. It's not like the same move over and over with the
Yeah, it's not like you got 6 classes and they all have like similar moves. It's out of the entire roster of the game. I think they made it to 40 characters. Hang on, let's go ahead and take a look at the roster real quick. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 44, 48. They had 48 characters for the console release. I don't even have. Okay, I've got about half the roster and less than that at the level cap of the game. But yeah, and most of it you didn't even have to spend money for. The extra costumes, yeah, you could spend money for, but you didn't have to spend money to get those costumes. There were ways to get it. Granted, it would be a long-ass grind of playing the game. Oh.
So, just curious, does anybody here have Marvel Ultimate
Glad you're on our
Alliance 1
side,
and
big
2
guy.
on PS4?
You are on
I've got it
our
on the
side,
Xbox.
right?
Man, we should just hit up. If this does get shut down, there's chances they might step it up and get in between, but if it doesn't, man, we
Have we
should all hit
spotted
it
Balda
up,
to
man.
clean up?
All right. Well,
Get on there and play.
I'm gonna go ahead and stand up on a soapbox here for a second and just give kind of like a final thoughts thing to the whole Marvel shutting down their collaboration with Gazillion. This game came out about 6 years ago, and it was on the PC only. It was a PC game, and it was just called Marvel Heroes. There was no Mega attached to it. It was just Marvel Heroes was the game. They had a bunch of characters and a bunch of costumes and different little perks and stuff like that for the game. And whenever it first came out on the PC, kind of like as a show of faith and dedication, players were able to buy the different packs, kind of like with the console release. You were able to like buy this hero pack or that hero pack and this character or that character, and you would just have them, and you would also gain access to the beta for the game. So I paid money to get into the beta for the game on the PC, and then I spent more money after I actually got into the beta and got to try it out. And the game, at its inception, when this game first came out on the PC, it was not that great. The very first time I ever played this game, okay? And for you two gentlemen who only ever played it on the console, the very first time I ever played this game on the PC, I had spent $60 to get access to the beta. And with that $60, whenever the game eventually launched, I would have access to Wolverine, and a couple of other X-Men characters. I can't even remember who all I had access to, but I knew that I wanted to play as Wolverine, okay? And I would get access to the beta, and I got access for a couple of months to play the game on the beta, and then eventually it released, and I immediately had it. If I had just stuck with that purchase, I would have had access to those characters in that package. at the onset of the game without having to spend any more money. I would have had like 6 or 5 characters, plus the regular, like, oh, you beat the tutorial, so you get an additional character setup. So I did that, or rather, I tried the beta out, and I loved the game. So one difference between the PC and the console: on the PC, if you had the money, you could just outright throw money at Gazillion as a testament of faith to their ability to encapsulate Marvel comic book characters, rather than buy like all the individual packages like you did on the console. For the PC, if you just said, hey, here's $200, I trust you guys to make a good game. And again, during the beta, it was not a very good game. It was mostly just like, what's the word whenever like you remember nostalgia? It was mostly just a nostalgia factor. And if you liked it, you could throw money at the game, and the developers promised you would have every single character that they released for that first year, plus an additional couple of characters, and you would get all of their costumes and all of the inventory space and all of the things that you would otherwise have to grind for by playing the game. You didn't really get a genuine, like, it was never pay to win. Yeah, if you spent a bunch of money, you had a bunch of characters to pick from, but you didn't ever really get a particular advantage over somebody who didn't spend money. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna spend money and play this game because I freaking love stabbing people to death as Wolverine in a video game. And then eventually Moon Knight came out, and I like Moon Knight just as much as Wolverine, and I was like, hell yeah, they're including obscure characters like Moon Knight and Squirrel Girl, and it was awesome. As a fan, to be able to see that. So just before the game was even out, I spent $200 on it. Okay, $260 technically, because I also bought the X-Men pack. I did get reimbursed with it for the $6 I spent in the form of the game currency called G's. But yeah, 6 years of just throwing money at this company because they delivered. Gazillion delivered. The employees delivered a game I wanted to play. And they kept expanding on it. Like, the console version of this game, they don't... Okay, they maybe have half as much content as the PC version of this game has. A minute ago, Lil, you mentioned that there was never any pressure to play this game. And there isn't a whole lot of pressure to play this game. You can pick it up, you can hop in for a couple minutes, or like an hour, and you can like hop around on your favorite Marvel character and just beat up bad guys, and it's fun. Both of you agreed. I agreed as well. This game is just fun for you to play. But on the PC they had raids, plural. They had more than one raid to do in this game. They had more than one patrol zone. On the console, you've got Midtown Manhattan. On the PC, you had Midtown, and you had the Jersey Docks, which is a different patrol zone with different events and different bosses that appeared. You still had the Omega system. It was called the Infinity system on the PC. It eventually turned into the Omega system. The company, Gazillion, was delivering. And they had David Brevik, the creator of the action RPG genre. Okay, the guy who made Diablo from Blizzard. They had him leading this company. And they had an outstanding, they still have an outstanding community support crew working for this company that tries to stay in touch. But ever since David Brevik left and Doomsaw left, Doomsaw, if anybody doesn't know who he is, I wouldn't know who the hell Doomsaw was if I didn't play Marvel Heroes. He was a community person. He was a developer of the game. He was very verbal, and he was very popular among the people that invested in this game because he was so vocal, and he released stuff, and he gave us a heads up on stuff. But he left the company. David Brevik left the company, and then they got this new CEO, and then he got reported for sexual harassment. which should be intolerable. Okay? No, under no circumstances is like giving someone of the opposite sex like a slap on the behind and saying, good game or well done. That shouldn't be tolerated. Especially if it's like you're the person who's being touched in a way that you don't want to be touched, or approached, or contacted, or addressed in a way you don't want to be approached. That should never be acceptable. So by no means do I blame the accuser for coming forward about something they felt was unfair. In no way do I blame Marvel for wanting to distance themselves from questionable characters running a company that they associate with. But at the same time, it does piss me off that because one person couldn't behave themselves, not even like
Sitting around when there's work to
how
be
should I
done.
word this? Not even like stray away from like their
You're just
most
a walking Section 8, aren't you?
barbaric impulses, but because somebody couldn't act like a normal fucking human being around other people of the opposite, like, I just, I hate the argument that boys will be boys, exists, because if boys can't control themselves around people of the opposite sex, how the fuck can anyone expect boys to run a country, or run a company, or to behave any goddamn where, let alone, like, at the head of any position of power? So that pisses me off. The boys will be boys excuse. That's not an excuse. That's borderline. It's not even borderline. That is enablement. So because somebody couldn't keep it in their pants and act like a normal goddamn human being, this great game that's just overall okay, maybe great, that's biased as hell. I'm being biased. I think this is a great game, but this game that is just overall fun to play, that is relaxing, that is a break from reality, has no requirement to play for more than 5 minutes at a time. This is just a fun game that is also that also sticks to its source material, is going to get shut down because some jackass couldn't refrain from acting like a jackass in front of somebody from the opposite sex. Oh, that breaks my heart. I love this game. I love this I love Marvel. I love I just love what they did. This was the spiritual successor to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and they were finally making it happen with the console release. And because they didn't treat employees right, they left, and because the employees left, other people facilitated those employees' positions, and now a game that I've spent over $1,000 on because I trusted them, and because I believed in them, and because I loved the intellectual property, is just going to disappear. If you're still watching,
I'm super mad because I wanted to spend time with my wife on there too. Like,
yeah,
we
man.
enjoy games that we can play together, and it was free, and we could play together. Like, oh
That's
my
hard to
goodness.
come, especially this day and age. That's really hard to come by. A couch co-op game? Fuck!
Right?
That's so hard to come.
Right.
Let alone a couch co-op game that actually has an IP that you enjoy. If two people like Marvel, they could have played this game until its contract ran dry. They would have been the kind of people that kept this contract renewed. Okay? So my wife loves Marvel. I'm actually sitting here on my stream right now as Rocket Raccoon. My wife loves Rocket Raccoon and Groot and the Guardians of the Galaxy. She loves Rocket so much. My wife cosplays at comic conventions as Rocket Raccoon. And not one of those like hyper-sexualized Rocket Raccoon things that you see every now and then that people do, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm wearing a half furry mask and my tits are out. Like, she didn't do that. She did like a canon original I'm sorry, not original, but like modern Rocket Raccoon, not the black and white costume, but like the blue coat and blue pants and red glove. She did a Rocket Raccoon cosplay. Okay? She loves that. And we would play this
I was
game.
kind of hoping they would hit the alternate universe Marvel too, man. They could have went so many different directions.
They really
could
could have. The gates were swung open, especially with being online and having so many movie tie-ins. The gates were just swung wide open. But because some asshole couldn't behave themselves like a normal human being, Marvel just announced today that they are going to break their contract with Gazillion, and sometime within the next 24 hours, this game is going to be shut down. And that, God, that breaks my heart. I actually had to do a double
So
take.
they weren't just BSing on the IGN whenever they said 24 hours? Because I
don't
read that
know.
on IGN. It said within the next 24 to 48 hours.
I'm going off the
It was
intel
like
that I
one of
have,
those
dude.
side
Between
posts.
Kotaku, GameSpot, and IGN, I'm going off of what I know, or not what I know, but
Yeah.
what I'm being told. And honestly, the fact that I'm hearing this stuff from every company except Gazillion right now, that bugs the
I
shit
don't
out
think
of
they
me.
really have time to, make posts right now. Because I'm sitting here looking up their Facebook right now, and I don't see Gazillion Games being on here. Unless I'm, like, spelling it wrong.
Long time no see, J. Jaws.
Marvel. Marvel. Oh, man, dude.
I mean,
Marvel.
it makes me sad because, like I said, I really did enjoy this game. I've invested a decent amount of money in this game, and it's all for nothing. If all of this is true, I mean, there's no two ways to slice it. Investing as much money as I did in a video game just probably wasn't a brilliant idea, but at the same time, when the company itself isn't responding or posting anything, and you're hearing from other companies, other properties that, hey, this is breaking news, and the company itself isn't responding, I don't know, it is still brand new news. So,
I mean, it was 1 hour ago. Literally,
Yeah.
IGN just learned about it 15 minutes ago.
Silly me,
Yeah.
Raccoon, wear more clothes than home.
we'll see. Hopefully this is just me making a big stink out of nothing, trying to stream this. But, I mean,
okay, it's not nothing, because IGN wouldn't post something like that. That'd be slander, you know what I mean? In cases like this, it would be considered slander if IGN was posting, it would be biased slander.
Okay,
Because they
so,
are a
wait.
game company.
Alright, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Now, here's the turning point. Here's the silver lining, more or less, that I'm going to throw out there. As much as I've enjoyed my time, this is going to be a really steep change of tone. So I'm going to run to the restroom real quick and grab an alcoholic beverage because I need it, given the current news. Lil, Tiny, if you guys want to express some concerns to my one viewer right now, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to run to the restroom, grab a beer. Please
You and I
spill the beans and express yourselves with the news that Marvel is separating itself from its contract with Gazillion.
I just don't like it. I don't like uncomfortable feelings.
Alright, I'm just getting over the shock of it. It was a
Yeah,
really good game, man.
It was a really good game, man. I was actually going to play it today, but now that it's been shut down, what's the point? Like, I mean, I'm sitting here like,
I was into Marvel, but I wasn't as into Marvel until I played this. Like, I only played it because they asked me to. I didn't expect to like it at all.
Yeah, so
No, 'cause
it's
I didn't
going
like the
full
camera.
screen.
Another potty
Yeah.
break.
It's going full screen here. It's even on comicbook.com. Disney is shutting down Marvel Heroes. Let's see if we can find some more information. Maybe some time frames or anything like that.
If it was a money issue,
Your power would
why
be
would they
better
have?
tempered with
You know, they have
honor,
so
friend
many
Hulk.
players. I'm in 5 different Marvel hero communities. The first 2 or 3 are like 3 to 5,000 members approximately. It even shows you how many people are in a session. There's always somebody in a session
Yeah.
for this game. There's a party
There's
chat always.
never a time when you get on there and nobody's on there, dude.
Uh-huh.
What did I miss?
Just talking about how oh my god, you just came in and just derailed my train of thought.
I have that effect on people.
But
It's my voice.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Before I played this game, I didn't know who Squirrel Girl was. Be honest. I mean,
Not a lot of people did. Characters like Moon Knight didn't have a whole lot of publicity. People like
I knew who Moon Knight was. Moon Knight's awesome.
oh, hats off to you.
I'm playing him right now, though.
Magic. Nobody knew who the hell Magic was. Freaking Nova. I'm actually kind of
Magic was
surprised.
one of the Horsemen, wasn't she?
No, she wasn't,
At one
except
point?
for in this game.
You are difficult
Yeah,
to
like
dislike,
that was
Spider-Man.
that's what made no sense. Like,
Yeah, they took a couple of civil liberties, which I mean, you can't blame this game for that because Fox obliterated the fuck out of any continuity from any Marvel comic ever that they tried to release with the X-Men or Fantastic Four. But yeah, they took a couple of civil liberties, but that also had to do with licensing. Anyway, in spite of all the like doom and gloom, I want to go ahead and take a minute to point out the silver lining. And like I said before, I went on my little bathroom break. A really big change of tone here. So here's the kind of silver lining. I'm going to start with a ridiculously optimistic thought and theory, and it's probably 100% fake, but this is the most naive thing I can think of, but I'm also hopeful of, is that this is a huge ploy after a few weeks of silence from Gazillion to generate hype for their game. This could be, for the last few weeks, they haven't like released anything, they haven't done anything, they haven't mentioned much on their social media about like what's going on with the game. They haven't released any content on the console or PC version of this game. They completely skipped the Halloween event on their PC version of the game. This might just be them bracing for the storm after the silence from that sexual harassment lawsuit, which I'm not trying to downplay. That's a big fucking deal. If it's accurate, even if it isn't accurate, accusations like that shouldn't be taken lightly. This could be them prepping for the release of The Punisher coming out and to try to fight back against the DC Warner Bros. Justice League movie coming out. This could be them trying to just generate hype and getting different companies like Kotaku and GameSpot and IGN talking about Marvel Heroes to get people like to look at it and be like, what is that? What is going on over there? It could be a huge advertising campaign to try to get people to reinvestigate and relook at their game before it officially shuts down. And then they might turn it as like, hey, we garnered so much support that we didn't have to shut down. Maybe. But again, that's a really naive and huge long shot way of looking at it. The other slightly more realistic silver lining of this is, within the last year, Marvel has come to an agreement with Sony, which allows them to use Spider-Man in their cinematic universe. There has recently been a revelation of talks between Fox and Marvel, mostly between Marvel trying to buy a chunk of Fox to include the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Now on the PC version of this game, you have the entire roster of the Fantastic Four. You've got Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, The Thing, the Human Torch, Doctor Doom, and Silver Surfer all in that game as playable characters. And with Marvel finally obtaining, possibly obtaining Fox rights, that seems like a possibility. You just recently had Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite release with 0 X-Men and no Fantastic Four representation. However, you've got mobile games like Marvel Future Fight and Contest of Champions still include, and their, what's the puzzle game that they have? I don't know, Puzzle Quest? Marvel Puzzle Quest? They have recently released X-Men characters. Marvel Future Fight has recently released X-Men characters in their games, which means that there might be some kind of licensing agreement going on there, or headway in that regard. It's possible that Marvel is actually making that headway, and Fox is actually yielding some of those rights to Marvel to finally actually get a benefit out of giving basically free advertising towards Fox making movies about their characters. It's possible that there's been so much headway given, in fact, that these other companies that are yielding a profit are allowed to institute some of these changes before the official announcement or big reveal that, hey, Cyclops and the X-Men and Wolverine and Magneto and Mr. Fantastic and the Thing are going to show up in the, phase 3 or 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It might be possible that the agreement's already been arranged and some of these companies are leaning forward because they have the green light from Marvel, the head company for these games, these titles, to institute those changes because it's going to happen, which regrettably means that gazillions Marvel heroes will go away, because out of all of them, as much money as a lot of people have spent on Marvel heroes, it suffered so many bad reviews and so much bad acclaim from critics and from, honestly, from a lot of fans. I say fans loosely, people that played the game on the PC, on the console. Critics, we'll go with critics. A lot of critics, it suffered a lot of poor reviews from those people, that Gazillion and Marvel Heroes just hasn't made enough money to justify continuing the contract versus severing the contract and finally releasing a new Marvel game like Ultimate Alliance 3. In this last year, Disney has erased the Disney Infinity line, which included Marvel comic book characters. It wasn't making enough money. Gazillion might not be making enough money. Marvel is finally reacquiring some of its original properties, like X-Men and Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. So it's possible that this game's going to go under, which sucks, especially for people who have spent any measure of money in this game. It sucks. If you spent, and please don't take this the wrong way, if you spent a little bit of money, if you spent $20, I really do hope that you got your $20 worth. But if you were one of the whales, the people that spent thousands of dollars on this game, and you never even got to fully realize what all the money you spent could be worth, played all the characters and unlocked all the things and found all the items, I feel bad that you weren't able to fully realize what your money was worth if it gets canceled.
Well, it doesn't look like it's fake. It looks like, everyone's saying the same thing, and it's coming from employees on the inside of their company, even Jeff Danaeus.
Holy shit.
Yeah, from what I'm reading right here from Gamma Sutra, it'll be shutting down because Marvel pulled their ties. That's
Bing.
yeah.
Man,
They just don't have a time
decisions
frame. Yeah, with Marvel pulling out, they lose all their licensing, all their everything.
Okay, so here's the thing. Speaking of licensing, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 released on the Xbox One and the PS4, and then as soon as Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was announced, I'm sorry, also Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 released as a package on those consoles. This all happened after Ultimate Alliance 3 came out, right? Whenever Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate was announced, the online compatibility for those games went away because of licensing. So I don't doubt that here within the next, I'd give it a tops a week, this game will be off the internet. Which, God, it breaks my heart because I've spent so much time playing this game because I like this game. This feels so good. And it's just gonna go away because some asshole couldn't keep it in their pants. And it might even actually be beyond that. It might actually be behind the sexual harassment lawsuit. But in my eyes, having played the game as long as I have, like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. A game that was struggling to make a profit had a sexual harassment lawsuit filed against it, and that was it. They couldn't afford to keep going,
After all the trouble I brought
which
to
makes
the
sense.
X-Men,
You
I'm
shouldn't
truly
have to.
grateful to have a second
Like
chance.
they carried for a while. I feel bad for the PC gamers, I'm sorry, I feel bad for the console gamers like you gentlemen, who only just got to like begin to taste what this game had to offer. But at the same time, a lot of the PC gamers, they jumped ship a while ago. The console release really killed this game for a lot of PC gamers because it solidified the idea and the rumor that a lot of the PC gamers, myself included, had that all we were doing was beta testing a console release for this game.
Looking forward to this.
Like, that's what it felt like. By the time this game came out on the console, there was so much polish and shine and changes and fine-tuning that it was able to release on the console. On the PC, it was a completely different game, up until like maybe 3 months before it released on consoles. It was a completely different game. But here we are. I don't know.
really care about the money I was spending on this game. It just sucks that I won't be able to continue playing it.
Yeah, it was such a good game.
Yeah.
It was like this game was just a fun freaking game. Marvel Heroes Omega is the reason I started streaming. I'm only chiming in that fact because I finally have 2 viewers. Welcome to the stream. Like I started streaming to try to get people to play this game because it's a fun game, and it's got such a bad rep because of the older reviews of how awful it was whenever it released, and before certain patch releases. But the game was fun, and the developers at Gazillion were true to the source material. They tried so hard. I'm not speaking for the president. I don't know about the president of the company, but as far as I can tell, I mean, if David Brevik, the creator of action RPGs, left the project because, in his words, he wasn't able to work on the game, he had to sit in an office and not create a video game. That's why he left. He wasn't allowed to do what he wanted to do, which is create games. So some other guy took over. And now it's just down the tubes.
Well, in my opinion, this is what happens every single time a big company and big corporations start teaming up with other big corporations. People get disappointed. There are those very few moments when it actually works.
Hey now,
But
hang on,
in
just
my
a second.
opinion, this is what happens.
Just a second. Disappointment is my favorite thing. I get disappointment from almost every facet of my life. I did not get disappointment from Marvel Heroes Omega. I got disappointment from some jackass who couldn't keep it in his pants and act like a civil, normal human being. That's why I'm disappointed. I'm not disappointed
Well, I
in
see
Marvel's
the ends,
choice.
The means here. I'm disappointed at the fact that I couldn't, continue playing the game till its end.
Are you disappointed or are you sad? Oh, what's up, Tiny? I see you're Moon Knight. I will also be Moon Knight, because if this game's gonna go out, I'm gonna go out in a great big white awesome cape.
I wish I could have went out, playing a Squirrel Girl, but I didn't have a chance to get the shards.
Well, I would buy it for you as a gift, but this game on the console doesn't have gifts, which is probably a good thing, because if I spent money on it right now, I might as well just set it on fire.
But you wouldn't like it.
I'm so disheartened, though, that the announcement came from Marvel that they're breaking their ties with Gazillion. The game had another 2 years on its contract, and it became too expensive to maintain. It was more worth it to... It was more worth it for Gazillion, or I'm sorry, for Marvel, to pay Gazillion to finish off its contract than it was to allow Gazillion to continue to manufacture this game. And that really breaks my heart. Can you hear me? Hello? I think that by joining your party, Tiny, that I fucked up the stream. I might have messed up the stream. I apologize for using the F word for my viewers, unless you don't mind me using lewd language. But just in case, I try not to swear, but I'm pretty worked up right now.
The strongest doesn't always win.
I was gonna tell you, come meet me at the Shield training room where you can show off some of your moves for broadcast.
Alright, screw it. Social, tiny tank, teleport. Sure, I'll do it. Alright. So, 45 minutes left. So, I have this build from Moon Knight. It's not the most damage, but it is immortal. This is the immortal Moon Knight build, where you literally cannot die. Before I show it off, I'm gonna go ahead and look at a skill real quick. So, basically, let me try to find it here. None of that, none of that. Okay, here we go. Moon Knight gains 0.3% damage for each 1% of his health that he is missing. Okay? So he's got this skill called Avatar Vengeance, where you go down to 1% health. I'm sorry, health is just 1%, 1 health. It cannot be regenerated, but it also cannot be reduced below 1. So you cannot die. And it lasts for 3 seconds, plus an additional 1 second for every 200 spirit or conscious favor in Moon Knight terms. 200 conscious favor, it increases by 1 second. Yes, Mr. Troublesome, Marvel announced that they are severing their tie with Gazillion, and they are going to shut down their license with Gazillion, which means that any Marvel character that appears in any Gazillion game is going to stop being allowed to be used online, which means Marvel Heroes is going to die. So anyway,
I dare you to fight.
I'm sorry guys, for you guys in my party, I was answering a response to the stream. So, Moon Knight cannot go below 1 health. He cannot exceed 1 health, but basically I cannot die. So, if you see a great big blue ring in the stream, that is my ability that prevents me from dying. So, there's a big blue ring, I cannot die, and I'm invulnerable right now. So every time I fill that silver bar above my health, I'm able to jump into one of those statues, which makes me invulnerable. So there I am. I've got for a second there I had 4 statues up, and I cannot die. And this is great in like Midtown or any zone of the game. You're just able to beat the crap out of bad guys without dying. And then it expires, I pop another one, I still cannot die. Moon Knight, this is the invulnerable Moon Knight build. Cannot die. It just doesn't happen.
Once you come across something, you know you do it.
So yeah, I know, Mr. Troublesome, it is effed up, but I mean, if you're running a company and the developer or the lead guy of your company decides that it's okay to treat women like they're not fucking human beings, I feel like the person deserves to be punished, but what really sucks about this is the fan base, the people that enjoy this game, the people that invested in this game.
The people that are truly gonna suffer, you know.
Yeah, it's the audience. It's not... Gazillion isn't gonna suffer much by being shut down. Like, it's gonna suck for them, because yeah, they don't get, you know, their bonus, whatever. Actually, fuck that. Even the employees at Gazillion are going to suffer, because most of those people, they're regular human beings doing a regular job, trying to earn a living, and a lot of them, in my 6 years of playing this game with this company, and I messed up my rotation, so I will actually die if I like stayed in an actual fight in Midtown or anything. A lot of the employees, they have an honest attachment to Marvel characters. They enjoy certain Marvel characters. There used to be a developer of the game, a community manager named Ryan Grolnier Collins, and he loved Moon Knight. I'm convinced that if it wasn't for certain developers having a love for the source material of this game, some of the characters would never been added. Moon Knight wouldn't have been added. Beast would not have been added. Nick Fury, not on the consoles but on the PCs, as a playable character, wouldn't have been added. A lot of the developers of this game at Gazillion really loved the source material and loved what they were working towards. But certain people, certain bureaucrats, certain fuck it, certain assholes that run companies just wanted to make money. And as a side effect of that, the people that work, the regular working person, and the the target demographic is going to suffer, because now this game that is otherwise really fun, really enjoyable, really affordable to play, and by affordable I mean if you want to spend money you can, if you don't have to. It's going to go away because the wrong person was just running the show. And it breaks my heart. End of an era. It's not like this isn't like older games that were offline that you can continue to play after it got shut down. Like Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, or X-Men Legends 1 and 2, or Dynasty Warriors, or Mario, any number of games that aren't 100% online. You can still go back and play those games if you still own the console and the game. This game, when it shuts down, when the online servers are gone, the game is gone. And that breaks my heart. I mean, I've literally... Okay, I'm not going to name drop anybody, but 2 people, and that's not a big number, but 2 people that I met because of this game, played the game, applied for a job at Gazillion, and actually garnered employment from this company, Gazillion, because they loved the source material, they loved what Gazillion was putting out, and they put in an application, and they proved themselves to that company that they could facilitate performing a duty for that company. And through love of the game and love of the source material, at least 2 people that I know have gained a living wage and have got a job through that, through love of an intellectual property and something they were working on.
I'll be honest with you, I feel bad for those people because not only do the people up top that were, protecting this dude that was doing all this stuff, they deserve to, lose their jobs or whatever, but the people that were developing this game, the people that were doing the good things, putting out updates in a timely manner, stuff like that, they don't deserve to lose their wages and jobs. They got families, bills, stuff like that. Now, I of all people, I understand bills because I have a lot of them.
I think everybody does. I would hope that everybody does.
These guys, they don't deserve to lose their jobs and wages and stuff like that. I mean, they need a cushion, and I think this company, if they do shut down or anything like that.
Well, hang on. Speaking of if they do shut down, here's the thing: Gazillion's only video games that they have under their belt are Marvel IP-based games. So if Marvel severs with Gazillion, the people that have stuck with Gazillion, that you're talking about, that like earned a living working for Gazillion, making these Marvel games, between Marvel Superhero Squad and Marvel Heroes on the PC and now Marvel Heroes Omega on the consoles, like, those guys, do you really think they're going to be able to put on a job application that they worked for a company that supported a sexual harassment person, especially this day and age with social justice being the way that it is? Being as readily available and as accessible.
That down on your resume.
I mean, They can try to, but like they can put what they did for sure. I don't know if they can drop the company name though, because any association with this company name now is going to be toxic.
It is. It's definitely gonna be toxic.
But in the long shot chance that either of you guys that I know that work for this company are listening, guys, I know what you did. I've seen it. I've seen the changes. I've directly talked to you about changes to make to this game, and some of them you implemented, some of them the data that you see that I don't, you decided not to. And just through your love and passion for Marvel and what Gazillion had an opportunity to do, you guys tried your damnedest to deliver. And thank you for that. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this stream because I'm tired, and now I'm distraught. For those of you just turning in, all three of you, Marvel announced today they are breaking their contract with Gazillion to continue the Marvel Heroes video game, and it's going to be turned offline soon, which means that any game or any monetary thing that you've donated or spent on this game is going to be null and void, because once the server shut down as an online only game, the game will shut down, so it's all lost. One final note though that I just thought about, talking about the people that work for the company, with Marvel pulling out and Gazillion only having a tie to the Marvel IP, Gazillion may be able to release another game, but the backlash from lawsuits from people who did spend money on this game that didn't get to fully, like, get their money's worth out of this game, Gazillion, I anticipate, will file for bankruptcy, go under, and simply disappear, which is mighty unfortunate, because they really do have a team of developers that genuinely give a shit about what they're letting their audience play with. It's not EA, it's not Bethesda, it's not Nintendo, it's not some... Gazillion is not some major company that can afford to take a hit. Gazillion can't afford a hit, let alone a hit as gigantic as a sexual harassment lawsuit piggybacked by the fan base demanding compensation for their game being shut down. So, it breaks my heart. I'm sad, but it is very possible that this is the end for Marvel Heroes. I do look forward to seeing or scouting out private servers on the PC for this game, because I love this game. This game is it's just fun. So hopefully that'll happen. Maybe it won't, it probably won't, but Marvel has said they're done. They will no longer suffer any consequences for being associated with the name Gazillion Entertainment. So thank you if you joined my stream, for listening, for watching and hearing us out. But yeah, it looks like this is the end for Gazillion. I tried really hard to deny it. I tried really hard to be optimistic, and I was at certain points very naive about the possibility that this game was going under. But now it's very real, and the coming days will determine if and when this game shuts down. So if you enjoy Marvel Heroes, I hope that you had a good time. If you spent money, I apologize. I hope that you got at least your money's worth. Personally, for the console release, I spent 4 months of it, 5 months of it, unable to play it and touch it. But I had so much faith in Gazillion as a company to make a quality product that I spent money on it, knowing that I would spend 5 months after its release not being able to do anything with it. And in my opinion, they have delivered. I feel like with time, they could have delivered more. But unfortunately, between the sexual assault allegations and Marvel pulling their intellectual property away from Gazillion, I don't think they'll be able to. This game would not be the same if Angela was Angel B and Gambit was card-throwing anti-hero. It wouldn't be the same. Gazillion doesn't have Gazillion doesn't have the power or the pull that other big name companies do. If Wolverine was Frenzied Badger, they wouldn't be able to sell.
The Honey Badger.
They wouldn't be able to sell like they did because of the Marvel IP. But anyway, at the 30-minute mark of this video, I mentioned some of the silver linings.
Glasses guy.
Yeah, guy with eye impediment. Stinky smell teleporter. Those kind of characters, they wouldn't have the same draw as Nightcrawler or Wolverine or Cyclops. But at the 30-minute mark, I mentioned some of the silver linings. Hopefully, with the fall of Gazillion, we see the rise of Marvel. Just to recap, Marvel has entered talks with Fox to reacquire some of the properties that Fox owns, to include the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Some of the mobile games have instituted X-Men characters, which hasn't been seen in a while. Actually, you know what? Marvel Comics themselves, recently in the Marvel Comics Legacy story arc, has reintroduced the Fantastic Four for the first time in 4 years in a cross, what the hell is the word? What is it whenever more than one comic anyway, a cross story arc involving the Avengers and the X-Men and other groups. For the first time in 4 years, Marvel showed the Fantastic Four. For the first time in 5 years, Marvel, in a big crossover, that's the word. For the first time in 5 years, Marvel, in a crossover book involving all of their major titles, showed Wolverine. Now, Marvel has had Old Man Logan and his son from the Ultimate Universe. They've had those characters show up here and there, but for the first time in 5 years, they've had the Wolverine show up in a comic book. They've had Mr. Fantastic show up in a crossover event comic book. So hopefully, in the near future, despite the fall of Gazillion, Marvel comic book fans will see Ultimate Alliance 3 or some future awesome Marvel IP. I said a couple minutes ago I was going to end the stream. I'm about to end the stream, but on a final note, I will say last year, Square Enix, the people who created Final Fantasy, announced a new video game they're going to release called The Avengers. It's a pending title. But Square Enix is working on a Marvel title titled The Avengers. So, thank you folks for tuning on the stream. Again, my heart is really sinking. Like, I'm legitimately depressed that this is coming to an end. I hope that tomorrow, whenever I come home from work, I can log into Marvel Heroes and go around and beat up some bad guys. But I might not be able to, and I don't. For the last 5 years, this has been part of my daily routine, and now it's going away. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I mean, I have an idea what I'm going to do with myself, you know, like go out and do something other than play a freaking video game for a few minutes. But, thank you. Thank you, Tiny. Thank you, Lil... shit! I already forgot your name again.
Just call me Randy. I'm Big Randy. Yeah.
Randy, I'm sorry. But thank you guys for joining me.
You're fine.
Thank you guys for joining me for the stream. This is it. This is the reason why I started streaming, was to try to bring people into playing Marvel Heroes, and now it's gone, or it's soon to be gone. Have a good night, and thank you all. I hope that you have a good day. I hope that you find what it is in life that you're looking for, and you grab it by the balls and don't let go, because eventually it's gone.